At Buckingham Palace, everyone knows, but no one dares to say it out loud, Prince William, the heir apparent to the British throne, does not want to be Charles III's successor. Or at least, he does not want to be the kind of successor that people imagine. He is uncomfortable with the idea of taking the throne just to keep it warm. William was not born to repeat centuries-old patterns, much less to maintain a legacy that sometimes smells of the past. His plans are different, bold to the point of extremity. And so, in the hallowed corridors of the palace, some are starting to tremble. No desire to repeat his father's shadow. If there is one thing the heir to the British throne has made clear in recent months, it is that he is not ready to take on the royal mantle with the same rigidity that his father once chose. Charles III ascended the throne without changing anything, from the way he greeted the public, to every gesture and look, as if copying the original of Queen Elizabeth II, his mother, because he believed it was an immutable rule. But William, Prince of Wales, did not want to be a copy. He refused to repeat the empty rituals, which he believed separated the royal family from the real lives of the people. Kate, ally and co-founder of the new dynasty. Those close to him recounted that, in private conversations, William had repeatedly shared his intention to transform the role of the ruler. And in all those plans, Kate Middleton was always present, not only as a wife, but also as a strategic partner. Together, they broke many stereotypes, from appearing simply at community events, to taking their children to participate in charity activities without media barriers. For them, the royal family should not be an aloof ivory tower, but a part of society, close and transparent. The unpublicized rejection. According to an anonymous palace insider, William once told those closest to him, "If the throne is just a symbol, then I don't need it. If it can't be changed, then I'll give it up." The statement was never made public, but his actions and attitudes gradually turned it into a reality. It is rumored that, in private meetings, William frankly proposed a shocking solution: to give the succession to Prince George, his son, when he is old enough, instead of carrying this responsibility for the next decades. The undercurrent at Buckingham. Not everyone in the royal family is ready for such a prospect. For some, William's refusal to take the throne is a sign of betrayal of tradition; for others, it is a glimmer of hope for a young, open and daring dynasty. For now, Buckingham has remained absolutely silent. But in London, the press and observers have begun to ask, is the United Kingdom facing a turning point not seen since Edward VIII abdicated in 1936? One thing is certain: if William does indeed step down, the decision will not only change the history of the British royal family, but also shake up the image of the monarchy in the 21st century. Public divided, press outburst. As rumors of Prince William's refusal to inherit began to leak out, the British public's reaction quickly split into two distinct camps. In a small pub in Manchester, middle-aged people watching the evening news nodded, "If he wants to change, let him. We're tired of the old formalities." Meanwhile, in an old town in Windsor, a group of elderly people expressed deep disappointment: the throne is not a game. William has a responsibility to continue the legacy of his mother and grandmother. Refusing to do so would be an insult. The press did not miss the opportunity. The Times ran a headline, "William at a crossroads in history." The Guardian analyzed at length the potential succession crisis and compared the situation to the shocking abdication of Edward VIII nearly a century ago. Meanwhile, tabloids like The Sun and Daily Mail ran dramatic headlines: "Will William abdicate the throne for Kate? Or the heir to the throne flees, what's going on at Buckingham?" Charles III's silence. Charles III, who is known for his calm demeanor in front of the media, chose not to speak out, at least publicly. But according to insiders, at a family dinner at Sandringham, he said one short sentence to his son: "You can't just think about yourself." That statement did not change William's stance. On the contrary, it reinforced the belief that the throne, if only maintained, would no longer be meaningful. Kate, the catalyst for change. Although she has never commented publicly, Kate is said to fully support her husband's decision. She believes that a king should be close to the people, not just appearing through formal photos and lavish ceremonies. Kate has told William that if he ever decides to step down to live up to his ideals, she will go with him to the end, a close family friend revealed. The statement, if true, could become a symbol of their bond, but also a huge shock to conservative forces in the royal family. Future scenario: George as king? If William does step down, the question is, who will succeed him? Some experts believe that Charles III could extend his reign beyond expectations, waiting until Prince George is old enough to take over. This scenario is both strategic and risky. Skipping a generation of succession would undermine confidence in the stability of the monarchy. However, there are also opinions that William's act of stepping down could open a new chapter, where the throne is no longer a traditional burden, but a voluntary choice of those willing to change the country. The storm is not over. At Buckingham, the velvet curtains remain closed, but outside, the press and the public are abuzz. With each passing day, the speculation grows more intense. Will William make an official announcement? Or will he quietly disappear from the line of succession, leaving a gap that will require history to be rewritten? One thing is certain: whatever his choice, Prince William has made Britain look at the throne in a completely different light, no longer as an immutable symbol, but as a role that can be refused. The historic announcement. The sky in London was overcast that day, with grey clouds hanging over Kensington Palace. Press from all over the world were present, cameras and microphones trained on a small platform erected in the middle of the royal garden. William stepped out, without a cloak or royal insignia. He wore only a simple dark blue suit, his tie slightly askew, a deliberate sign that today, he was no longer playing the prince. Kate stood beside him, her gaze determined, her hand clasped tightly around his. He began. "I know you have been waiting for my answer for months. And today, I will tell you, so that no one will have to guess." The garden was silent, except for the clicking of cameras. "I have thought long and hard. I love this country, I love its people. But I believe that to serve the United Kingdom, I do not necessarily have to sit on the throne. I do not want to be king just to maintain the old rituals. I want to serve in my own way, more freely, more intimately, more meaningfully." William paused, glanced at Kate, and continued. "Therefore, I am officially stepping down from the line of succession. I will not be king after Charles III. I trust that, when the time comes, my son George, or whoever is suitable, will take on this responsibility, better prepared and with a new vision." The shockwave was immediate. Just minutes after the speech ended, social media exploded. The hashtags #WilliamTwivi and #End of an Era flooded Twitter and Instagram. Supporters called him the bravest prince of the century, while conservative royalists accused him of undermining the foundations of the monarchy. At Buckingham Palace, Charles III reportedly sat silently in his study for hours, with no one daring to enter. Some of his advisors urgently discussed issuing a formal statement to reassure the public. But despite the mixed reactions, William left the podium with a light step, as if he had just lifted a burden that had been on his shoulders since birth. A new page in history. No one knew for sure what the future of the British royal family would hold after this unprecedented decision. But what was clear was that William had set a precedent: the throne was no longer given. And somewhere, in the cold, grey winter of London, people were telling the story of today, as a turning point that could change forever how people view the British monarchy.